What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rachel Cash Presents the Cash Talks Experience. And I am here with an amazing guy, Mr. Drew Schreter is in the house, Regional Director of
Uquall.
Uquall. I didn't want to mess that up. Uquall. And he is here to talk to us all about credit repair and all of the great things that you can do. And of course, this is one of the first shows where I've had the opportunity to talk anything financial, even though the name is the Cash Talks.
That's right.
So we are going to dive into it. Drew, welcome on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and look forward to talking about some financials and credits, all the fun stuff. Really,
all the fun things, things that people really are sometimes afraid to get into, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is one of those things where it's awkward to bring up around the table, or dinner with mom and dad, or it's like Thanksgiving table. It's not one of those fun things where it's like, oh, let's talk about credit, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
But it's important,
It definitely is important. So I'm going to dive into a few questions, but I want you to tell everybody about you. Things that you do, how you even got started with credit repair.
Yeah, it's a great question. Really, I, as a kid growing up, I sort of knew that I wanted to be in the world of finance and business. My mom actually, big inspiration to me. She was a hard worker, always working in the business world, and my dad, same thing. So I was like, I'll figure out how to do that eventually. And then grew up, went to college, and, like any other young, 18-year-old, just trying to find his way and get through college. And, I got a internship with Northwestern Mutual as a financial advisor there for a minute, and got my degree in finance and business. So once I graduated, I learned that just being a financial advisor is pretty difficult, you know, the market and how it was going, and I was like, I kind of want to make a pivot, and I found Uquall, which at the time were actually formerly known as National Credit Care.
Okay.
And we positioned to Uquall, about 4 years ago now, to be more of like a holistic approach to helping people's problems, but originally it was mostly tailored around credit and finances, really, just in general, and just found a love for it, really. Like I said, it's just one of those things where I had a knack and a curiosity to want to know more and grow, and it was something I didn't really know at the time, but the more I dug into it, the more I'm like, this is like really important stuff, and I'm helping people understand it. It's a blessing, really, so.
Yeah, and I love everything, and you're so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when we first met, it's like, hey, take this card. This is what we do. And so I was like, yeah, he's got to come on the show for sure.
Got to get him on. Well, you told me you had the podcast. I'm like, I love talking about this stuff. Let's get your people out there and hear about what I do, but even just having a conversation about credit could help a lot of people. So I'm all about it.
Definitely, and he's going to give some great tips. So I'm going to start with my first question and dive into it, and then we'll go from there. So for those who may not be familiar, what is like loan readiness and why it is so important? Can you talk to them about why it's so important to make sure that the credit is upstanding?
Yeah, I mean, credit is the base of everything that we do in America, really. It's a foundational piece. I'm a big man of God, and, Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and I proclaim that all day, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, but, you have to have a foundation on something that you're building upon, and credit is, in America, right, that's the system we built on, so understanding that is a big part of what we do at Uquall. It's just helping people realize, okay, this is what credit is, this is how you can overcome the problems that exist, because nobody talks to you about, what happens when you get a late payment on your credit report or a collection, right? Or how do I deal with all this credit card debt, right? How do I pay this off? And it's tough conversations to have. And,
it is.
Just getting some advice and guidance and a system in place to help you with that is sort of what Uquall as a loan readiness platform is all about. And we partner with loan officers and real estate agents across the nation. So it's kind of how we met, obviously. It was an event for that. And really, it's just in general, though, word of mouth. Friends, family members talk about us all the time because, once I help somebody out, they can't help but talk about us, right? So that's a big part of who we are, is just growing and working in that field and helping people overcome those difficult stuff, if you will. The finances are just, it's tough to deal with, and it's hard to overcome, and if you have, like I said, if you have a plan in place, it's a lot easier.
Yeah. So how do you actually draw in your the people that come looking for the credit, repair? How do you get your, people to become interested in
Yeah.
that? What do you go in the field, or how do you have people call in? How do you all?
Yeah, well, it's a mix. So a lot of the times I do presentations for
Yeah.
loan officers. That's sort of my thing. I come out here to Detroit and I fly across the nation, present our products, and then, if you applied for a mortgage, for the most part, you're going to hear about us if your
Yeah.
credit's not qualifiable, or, your finances maybe just aren't up to par to buy a house, which we all know buying a house in America pretty darn difficult. It's one of the hardest. It's the hardest thing to purchase in the world. Really,
Definitely.
is real estate in America. So, if you're struggling with that, you're going to get referred over to our company, Uquall.
Okay.
And then from there, we do like a free consultation for anybody that calls. So that's the other benefit. And actually, being that we're on a talk show, if anyone calls in, they want to talk to us, you'll get a discount if you mention Rachel's name. We can give you a free consultation, good hookup. Little plug for Uquall, but call in, we do a free consult, we'll talk to you about your situation.
Yes.
And then from there, kind of like a doctor, we do an x-ray, we can diagnose, okay, these are your problems, and here's the solution, right? And then from there, obviously there's a cost, you pay monthly for our services, but most people are cool with paying a monthly service, especially if they are serious about wanting to change, right? Because that's a part of it, is making that commitment. And there's always a financial commitment to anything, but I use the reference of, like, if your transmission's blown on your car, take it to the mechanic.
Yeah.
Right? Get it fixed. Have that consultation. Yeah, it's going to cost you money. It's going to take you time, but I promise you, with an expert's help, it's going to take far less time and far less money than you trying to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, definitely.
I
love that. So one of your pillars, because I've been studying, you guys, I did my research and everything, but one of your pillars is debt to income ratio.
Yeah.
Why should people pay attention to that before applying for like a home loan or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great segue. We were talking about this earlier a little bit about Klarna and Affirm.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. Now the market for that right now that's one of the hot button topics that, like, a lot of the teammates like myself, when we're traveling around the nation talking about this stuff, it's one of the more important topics we cover, because I've had people that are, we're all in a tough environment with the finances and stuff, but people are financing their Chipotle orders for $20 nowadays.
Oh my God.
Somebody listening might be doing that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
1 out of every 4 Americans, I think it was an article from New York Post or something I saw, that did a study on 10,000 Americans. 1 out of every 4 of them was financing their grocery bill on Klarna and Affirm, and they don't understand that taking out and doing something like that is a brand new loan on your credit report.
Yes.
And it's not only dropping your scores by opening a bunch of loans, but it's also affecting your DTI, which is one of the pillars that we talk about.
Yeah.
And your debt to income is how much debt you have in accordance to the income that you have, right? So you divide your debt by your income, and that's your DTI. If your DTI is too high, you can't buy a house.
That's true.
Or if it's too high, it's going to affect how much you can buy from what a loan officer's perspective is looking at. And the average person right now, they're losing $50,000 worth of purchasing power just from Klarna or Affirm, or taking out that brand new Mercedes that they didn't need but they wanted it because it's Mercedes, or or a brand new Ford F-150 that's way too much. Like, they could have gotten a cheaper vehicle, but they don't understand, like, that monthly payment, it affects much more than just the bottom line, like, oh, I can afford it. It can affect, like, your abilities to purchase your next thing that you want.
Yeah.
So it's important. DTI is one of the bigger topics that we cover right now, for sure.
Definitely. People need to know it. I'm going to back up a little bit, because you said that people are financing their meals on Klarna. That's...
Well, and you want to know the worst part, and this, it's sort of for us, like, it's some sort of job security, if you will. Like, 41% of the people that are utilizing these apps are not paying those bills back.
Yeah.
I've had people that I've signed up that were helping that had, like, $26 collections on their credit report from a, purchase of a food, at Starbucks or whatever. Starbucks purchased $25. They don't pay it. $25, they don't pay it, and then it gets sent to a collection company.
Wow.
Who then reports it against their credit, which drops their score 100 points.
100 points.
100-point drop from a single collection, and then now they can't buy a house. Now maybe they do buy a house. They're going to pay an extra $600 a month for 30 years because of that.
Insane.
You know, and if they're not educated on like how important this is, or the impact, or like why they shouldn't be doing this, or if you are going to do it, like have a plan to pay it, or know how it affects you.
Yeah.
Because then it would make sense, but most of the people are just doing it just because it's a trend.
Yeah. So I want to piggyback off of that, because I mean, if someone come to you and they have gotten in debt due to doing those types of things, how do you kind of reel them back in to get them back on track to where they need to be?
That's a great question. One of the biggest things Uquall does in particular very well, which is why I love working with this company, doing what I do. We have the tools to help people. So one of the bigger things is when somebody comes into Uquall, they have access to a budgeting functionality, which they can get access to and go through, and it can build you a budget. We have AI baked in that can do it within 2 minutes. You can link up your bank account, all the fancy
That's
stuff,
awesome.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
Which helps, and then you have like an actual budget in place, and you know where your bills are going every month and what your expenditures are. Most people don't have a budget.
Yeah, that's true.
And most of the people I talk to about it, it's like, hey, do you have a budget? They're like, no, or they've never been taught.
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking about this earlier. A big part of what I love doing is I love helping people, because I feel like that's what I'm called to do.
Yes.
I mean, I'm helping people do this for the first time. It's like breaking a generational curse.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and that's so true.
There's just generations and generations of just not knowing this stuff, or not having these tough conversations, and they're doing it for the first time. So it's hard to do it, right?
Yeah,
First of all, it's like doing anything for the first time is difficult.
Yes.
But then the second part to the point, to your question of how do we get people to change, is the consistency, and I guess I'll tie in accountability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you have someone there holding you accountable, being like, hey, we said we're going to do this month. Let's keep at it. Or, hey, we made a mistake. We might have messed up, but let's keep going. Some encouragement sometimes needed. We have representatives on staff that speak to our people every month and have great conversations to just a little bit of encouragement helps.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
that's the only way you can overcome any addiction or problem or trial or tribulations. Good community and good people, and that's what Uquall is trying to provide. So.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that you guys do that, and you take the time out to make sure you hear their story, and then you guys go from there and help them to rebuild. And that's something that people need, is that stability.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that from you guys. So how does credit monitoring help people prepare for like home ownership, when they're, thinking of buying a home?
Yeah, credit monitoring, just credit knowledge in general, I'd say it's so important. Like we were talking about, it's a foundational piece of credit, is knowing that, understanding that, just being aware of it is important. Because there's a lot of misinformation out there too. I say that a lot of, I've seen some stuff on like TikTok. There's crazy videos out there people are posting nowadays of like, I saw a video once, they're just like, hey, you can't drink water, it's like water's bad for you. I was like, what are you talking about, and people are liking it and sharing it. There's a lot of misinformation, and it's sort of like, who do you trust? Like, who's the right source? And, me personally, I've been doing this for damn near close to a decade, helping people, and I know I don't look it when I'm 31. I've been doing it for a while, but my whole career has just been focused on finance and credit. So, being kind of like a mechanic who's been doing it for almost a decade, I've helped 40, 50,000 people personally.
That's awesome.
Our company's helped almost damn near close to 500,000 plus in 2 decades, so it's a reliable source. And I'll tell you, the best way to monitor your credit is, if you're in trouble, seek expert guidance and advice.
Please, yes.
Even if it's not me, Uquall, you don't like me, Drew, or whatever, like that's fine. Talk to an expert.
Talk to one.
It's kind of like, go back to the example. If you're sick, go see the doctor.
Yeah, there you go.
Transmission's blown, go to the mechanic. Right? That's the first step. But second part is education. Just knowing a little bit about it. But again, it goes back to the misinformation. It's like, well, who do we trust? Where do we go? The bureaus have some really good, reliable information. Uquall, actually, our company, we provide a ton of great free articles you can look at. Our website has some great content too. Yeah. Because, again, that's a big part of it. It's just understanding how credit works.
Yes.
And then the last thing is we want to make sure we talk about, outside of the educational portion, just monitoring it, just looking at it, seeing, what's on my credit report, what's not. That's important too.
Yes, definitely.
So that's a big part of what we do is just overall focus is just making sure people are aware, educated, and you're being active around it. Because the more you are, it's kind of like the more you talk about budgeting or money with your spouse or anything, right? It becomes more comfortable. But if you don't do that, well, it's just going to be, it's just going to be a problem that keeps festering.
Definitely. Definitely. I love that you said that. It'll keep festering if you don't take care of the issue. So, Drew, I want you to share, the website, the email, wherever people can find you.
Yes.
Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes, and this is cool because we're on, obviously, the Cash Talk show here. If you guys want, make sure you mention Rachel and the team here, Cash Talk. You can call our company, Uquall. Our phone number is 833-498-7825. That's our toll-free line. If you call in and mention Rachel's name, you actually get a discount for that.
There you go.
You get a free consultation as well. Okay, so use that. Abuse that as much as you want. It's a big part of what we do, and obviously we want to help as many people as possible.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely. And of course, you all know that the Cash Talks Experience, Rachel Cash presents the Cash Talks Experience. You guys can follow us on YouTube, of course. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that hype button when you're on there. And also, we are going to be on Sinflick. I was telling you guys about that from my last show. We're on Sinflick, so we're going to be on that platform shortly. It's probably going to be every Wednesday. If that changes, I'll let you guys know. But go and subscribe to Sinflick. Our shows are going to be there for your viewing, all of them. And you can also follow Rachel Cash on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, rcash35, and TikTok, of course. So we're going to dive back into these questions. I'm glad you shared all that. You guys make sure you go and check Drew out, of course. They have 4 amazing pillars, of loan readiness or whatever it is regarding credit repair. You guys need to go and check that out and go to that website. What's that website one more time?
Yeah, it's Uquall. U is an umbrella, Q is in quail, U is an umbrella, A is an apple, L is in Larry.com. Uquall.com.
Perfect. Thank you, because I wanted to make sure everybody knows where to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
For you. So I'm going to ask this question here because I know we were talking a little bit about this, but I want you to elaborate a little bit more. So what's the biggest mistake people make when trying to save money, when they're trying to save for any type of down payment or anything? What's like the biggest mistake that they make?
Man, there's a ton of mistakes. I feel like we all make, on a daily basis.
Definitely.
But I think that the biggest mistake most people make when they're trying to save money is they don't have a good plan.
Yeah, definitely.
They don't have an approach, like a system in place to help them with that, right? A budget or just a plan of action of like, okay, what is my goal, right? What am I aiming for? And not a very clear depiction of it too. So, if you are trying to save money or change your financial situation, right, get a plan, get a budget, have the conversations, look deeper into it.
Definitely.
Because that's the first step, really. And then from there, it's just action, like I said, taking action. And if you can, have some accountability. Yeah. Even if it's not Uquall, like I said, you keep saying, like, have your grandma help you out. Make sure you're saving money. Or if you have a spouse, have those conversations. Like, make sure they're checking that you're not overspending and doing all these things, because that's the only way you can change is just having that source of influence and somebody to help you, which Uquall, like I said, we have great advisors and coaches and stuff that help you with that, along with the tools and the technology, because we've done the science, we've done the research, we've helped a ton of people. We know that's the best approach.
Definitely.
And the proof is in the pudding. Once you have good success, you can't help but keep doing it.
Definitely. Right? And I love the fact that you all just help so many people. You all make sure you reach out. So why is having the right documentation so important during the loan process?
That's a great one.
Yeah.
It gets overlooked because it's
Yeah.
such a boring one to talk about. I mean, they're all, somewhat boring for most people, they think, right? But
Yeah.
we make
Yeah.
it fun up here. That's what we're here for,
Absolutely,
right?
right?
Cash
We
talk.
make it
We gotta make
fun.
it entertaining because we gotta talk
Definitely.
about this stuff. But like documents in general, they get overlooked. Most people don't think about it, but the average loan officer, they're trying to hunt down a client on average every day, like 20, 30 minutes of their day, is just getting someone to send them the W-2.
Right.
Or a picture of the driver's license. And we're all busy. We're all procrastinators in some way, shape, or form. So,
Yeah.
Uquall provides a document locker for clients. So, like when you're with
that's
us,
pretty cool. Yeah.
while we're working on the credit, while we're helping with the finances and the budgeting and the DTI, we're doing it all at once. Why not just upload your W-2 real quick in the documents locker securely? None of the information you upload gets sold. None of it gets transferred to other companies. That's the other thing. Most of the other companies that are out there, they're data mining, they're data dumping, they're selling clients' information. And,
Right.
and you don't know where your info is safe anymore.
Definitely.
So
Yeah, that's a
our
great
company is a great place to like upload documents into. So when you do get ready to qualify with your loan officer, you can click a button, have it all downloaded, and send it to them to save them and you time for the loan process. Make
Yeah.
it easier.
Definitely. I love that. That's
Yeah.
some great stuff, you guys. Take those tips.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So when someone meets with you for consultation, what can they expect from that first initial conversation?
Yeah, it's a great question. You're going to get a lot of value out of it, I would say. I mean, just even, you don't pay a penny, and I would say in that 20 to 30 minutes, you're going to be more educated on credit and finances than 95% of Americans. Probably.
Wow.
Because no one talks about it,
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
true. That's true.
like the information you're going to get on, what your problems are, how to overcome them, why these problems exist, and the best course of action when taking on these problems. It separates you from the pack because, again, no high school course is on credit.
Yeah.
No college course is on credit.
Yeah.
And there's a reason as to why that's the case. We, if we had more time, we could go down the rabbit holes of all that. Maybe another time, maybe.
You come back and see us and tell us, right? For sure.
But no, it's an important thing where it's just having that consultation up front. You're going to get a lot of value, and you're going to get to know, okay, I have a clear idea of where I need to go.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's just a matter of you taking that leap of faith. And like I said, you have to pay money for the service, but you get a very affordable rate. You get discounts. Like I said, especially if you mention your name, they call in.
Mention the
get
name.
a great discount. But like even the money aside, it's like, taking that leap of faith, that means you're serious.
Yeah,
And then the next step is just taking action.
Yeah. Take that action. I love that you said that.
Yeah.
Just take the first initial step, okay? So what's one simple step people can take today to improve their financial readiness?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest thing that a person could do today would be focus on, your finances, your budgeting, your savings, tracking that. That's easy to do. Really start to take serious, educate yourself on credit.
Yeah.
The finance, a lot of that stuff, the content out there's a lot of good content for free.
Yeah.
And like I said, even just having a consultation with our team's free. So those are great first steps. Is just consulting experts and talking to them a little bit about what we do, how we help, and if you need that help, that's a big part of why people like me exist, right? Is to go out there and seek it. So that would be the first thing I would always say. Is just go find some help, but also get some free content and do some basic stuff on your own.
Definitely. I love everything that you're doing, and you said you've been doing it for so long. People or young people who are aspiring to do things like you, as far as helping people.
Yeah.
And it's like a passion of yours. If they're aspiring to do it and they are trying or struggling to get started, what is some piece of advice that you can give them to just get started?
You're talking about in the world of like credit and finances?
Finances, yeah. You're a regional director, so, you have a pretty big title, right?
Yeah.
So, someone who's probably interested in those types of things,
sure.
There's always someone going through their journeys kind of struggling. So we want to give them a piece of advice from you.
Yeah, honestly, especially for the younger folks, I'd say consistency and hard work are intangible things that most people don't see, but that brings you to success, really.
Definitely.
you don't get the Cash Talk show from being lazy and
Oh, no.
sitting on your butt all the time. You know,
That's
you got to
true.
work hard and you got to make connections and you got to dig through the mud, really.
Definitely.
You know, I think
Yeah.
that's part of, you know, especially like a lot of the younger generation coming up. It's like maybe they want to do it a little bit easier. Maybe we want to find the quickest path, the shortest path.
Yeah.
And there sometimes are really good, efficient ways to go about things, but a lot of times it just comes down to hard work and dedication and just making sure you pay attention to your overall situation. Make sure you're surrounded by the right people, too.
There you go. I love that.
Your support system matters, you know, your beliefs, they matter, right?
Yeah.
Like your like we've been talking about foundations and credit and stuff, but
Definitely.
like on a personal level, like having a
Yes.
good foundation and
Yes,
how you build your life is
Mhm.
important,
definitely.
you know?
Definitely. I love that. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Drew. Love, love, love that. And so you guys know I always do a quote, but I'm just going to go and piggyback off of what Drew said. You know, keep grinding, keep doing the things that you need to do to make it happen for you. You know, we are talking about credit today, making sure that you are consistent with making sure that that's, you know, ready to go. If you want anything, you know, you have to have great credit, right?
Mhm.
So start there. And if you need some financial advice, reach out to someone to assist you.
Yep.
But stay consistent and on your grind with doing everything that you want to do. Always have a positive mindset. Always stay the course of what you want. And that's what I have for you today. I'm going to leave you guys with that, Rachel Cash, the Cash Talks Experience. I'm going to be signing out. Drew, thank you so much again
Thank you
for
so
coming
much.
on the show. It's a pleasure
Appreciate
having
ya.
you here. You guys don't forget those tips. Check him out. He gave you the website. And then remember, you get a discount if you mention Rachel Cash.
Yes.
I'm signing out. You guys have a great night.
Thank you.